Hello, it's Crafty Ria. I'm so glad you're joining me today. And guess what I'm doing? I'm going to recycle some Christmas cards because we all know that that is my favorite thing to do. And if you're new here and you haven't yet subscribed to my channel, please click that red button right down there, and then while you're there, just click on the bell so you're notified when I upload new videos. I love to recycle Christmas cards, and if you love to as well, I think there'll be a lot of fun on the things to come on this channel. I have these 3 cards that I received recently in Happy Mail, and they had the backs already taken off. They were torn, so I went ahead and trimmed them up. Somebody sent me these probably from their own Christmas card stash, so I'm going to go ahead and recycle these 3 since they're about the same size. They all have glitter and they're all really cool. So I have 3 card bases picked out. These are 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. I had to switch out my third one because it was not the right size. Okay, so I have 3 card bases picked out. They're 4 1/4 by 5 1/2, which is a piece of cardstock folded in half and cut in half. And my white cardstock comes from the office supply section of the store. It's nothing fancy. And this blue cardstock was an 8 1/2 by 11 sheet of cardstock that I get in those economy packs that you can get at Joann's or Michael's or wherever. So I'm assuming that's where that came from. That's where most of my 8 1/2 by 11 cardstock comes from. Nothing fancy. The other day in Happy Mail, I received a stack of these beautiful glittery papers from Janet in Ireland, and I chose these 2 to use today. And then I had this one in my stash. It was perfectly cut in this green, and this is from BB Craft. So I have those 3 things. I also went through my little card scraps box and I picked some sentiments for the insides of the cards. I have some scrap cardstock for those, and I picked some embellishments. I ordered these the other day at Joann's because they had free shipping on any order, and I was ordering some of those cardstock packs because I needed purple, and they had them 3 for $10. So I picked out 3 sets that had purple, and these were on sale for maybe $1.20 each. And they came, and some of them are not sticky on the back. So I sent them an email and they refunded me for them, which is fine. But I'm going to use a couple of these on my cards today. They are very, very pretty, even though they don't stick well. And then I have this gorgeous snowflake trim. It is very iridescent. It is so, so pretty. It's on this big roll. And I got this from Oriental Trading when they had free shipping. And this came maybe last week or so, and I have some snowflake metal dies that I bought when I bought this. So I'm going to go ahead and use this on one of the cards. So those are my goodies. Oh, also these little gold stars. I found them in a pile that I put a bunch of Happy Mail aside, and I'm going to use those. So here we go. Let's go ahead and get started. What I want to do first, I want to figure out what I'm going to mat each one on, and I picked this blue paper for this because it matches this blue here, and I picked the green one for this one so the trees stand out, and I think that really does pull out the trees. And this one will be white, and the white one, of course, that's why I'm using the blue card behind it. So what I want to do with these beautiful glitter papers, because I don't want to waste any of them, because as you can see, that whole piece behind the card will be wasted because it will be covered up by the card. So I want to cut some die cuts out of the backs of these. So I'm going to set the stuff aside. Now all three of these are the same size and all three mats are the same size. So I'm going to turn the mat upside down and use one of these. I'm going to use the dark one and just put it in the center of the mat. And on the wrong side of the paper, obviously, I'm going to take my pencil and just trace around. So I know not to cut too close to that line. Now, I think this one came out a little crooked, but that's okay. You get the idea. So I'm going to trace that on all three. And then I'm going to take these to my die cutter and pick out some die cuts for them. And that way I will know not to go over that edge. So I have these three colors, so I want to pick out the die cuts that I'm going to use. So I have my die cutter set up on the top shelf of a 3-shelf bookcase. So it's, you know, not very high off the floor, but I can use it from a standing position really easy. And on one of the shelves below it, I have this box with all of my die cuts, and I organized them today. I bought these plastic folders on Amazon, and I had the cardboard that I cut out to be 5 by 7 or 5 1/4 by 7 1/4, and then the magnetic sheets that are adhesive on the back, I went ahead and cut those out 5 by 7. So I was able to do that for all of my die cuts. And what I like about having them in these plastic things, if one of the die cut pieces falls off the magnet, then I don't lose it. It ends up right in the container where it belongs. So I have some white some snowflakes that I'm going to cut out of the white because I think that would make beautiful snowflakes. I have some Christmas tree dies that I think I will cut out of this green because I think that would make good Christmas trees. And this blue, I think I'm going to do the butterfly and the dragonfly out of that blue. So I will be back in a minute with the finished product. And just like that, with the magic of television, as Carol Duvall used to say, or the magic of YouTube, these are all cut out. So out of the white one, I cut out these beautiful snowflakes. I got some of these snowflake dies from Oriental Trading when they had their free shipping. And I think this big snowflake was one of the ones I got. And it is so beautiful. Let me move these three little ones aside and show you this better. It is so pretty, and it has this inside piece. It has that piece and that piece that layers on it. It is so, so cool. So I have those aside, and yet there's still plenty of the backing on here. And this here, I have the dragonfly and the butterfly, which looks so pretty. And of course, there's enough of that. And then here we have the 2 Christmas trees. So I will set those die cuts aside to use in another project. So I will start by assembling the cards. Let's go ahead and do this one. I'll be using this dark blue card base, and I want to make sure the outside of this is a good size. Yes, that will work fine. And let me get my tape runner. And I'm just going to run the tape around the edge. And I want some of this inside stuff to stick. So I'm going to use some of my Elmer's glue and just put a little bit, since I can manipulate it, right around the snowflakes. There we go. That way that part of it stays flat. I'm using Elmer's Glue All, the inexpensive glue, and I put it in an old art glitter glue bottle with the fine metal tip, and it works absolutely fantastic. There we go, and I'm just going to push down around those snowflakes. And then I'm just going to adhere this onto the front of the card. Now, if your paper is very thick or you have a lot of open space, you might want to put a little piece of paper there to give the same height, but I'm not going to worry about it. I'm going to put a little bit of Elmer's glue on here just to help it adhere to the rough surface of the glitter paper. The tape would probably be fine, but I just want to make sure. And for this card, I want to use these 3 little or 4 little stars, and there is that star there. So I'm going to put the biggest star on there. And then I'm going to put 3 stars down here in the corner. I think I want to line them up, unless I want to put them randomly. Let me put one here in the corner and then decide. Yeah, I think I'll line them up. And that way that uses up that from my stash. There we go. I'm going to press them down really good. They are foam, so they do have a little bit of dimension. So this card will have some dimension. I'll come back and do the insides of the cards when I'm all done with the fronts. So I have that one. My next one I have is this guy. And that will fit on top of there. And there's all this empty space up at the top, and I thought this would be perfect to put these snowflakes across. And I'm going to cut an extra snowflake so I can wrap it around the back, so I don't have to worry about depending on the front to, you know, hold it down. I'll put a little glue on the front, but I definitely want to wrap some of this around the back. I think that's really cool. So I'm going to use my Elmer's glue, and I'm just going to put a couple dots on the snowflakes that will be on the front. It's easier said than done. This isn't so easy. And I'm just putting a dot in the center of the snowflake. And then I'm going to line them up as best I can and set them down. They don't want to stay. So since the wet glue wasn't holding them good enough. I have a glue stick, and I'm just going to put a little bit on the backs. I just want it to hold on the front for just a minute so I can adhere it down to the back. And I just used the back of that as my scrap paper to do that. That might hold it a little bit better. And I have this painter's tape. I'm just going to stick this just across a couple of them while I turn this over and adhere these down to the back. I have a little piece of Scotch tape to stick these down on the back with, and that way it will hold them down nice and flat. I got a little crazy with that piece. Let me trim off the top. Okay, and then let me take this painter's tape off the front carefully. There we go. And those should stick down. The glue stick will help them hold in place. I don't like to use glue stick on too many things that have to stay for a long period of time because I find it doesn't work well. However, for something like this that's adhered onto the back, the glue stick will be just fine. I really like that. That is such a pretty trim. And then I will adhere this to the front of this card. This paper is beautiful. Thank you, Janet. I hope you are watching. And I'm going to try to say your name again. Sinead? Sinead, I think it is how it is pronounced. Janet is, of course, easier for me to say. Let me know in the comments below where you are from, if you're in the United States, what state you're in, or if you're overseas, what country you're in, and let me know what kind of weather you're having. We are having snow here in Ohio. Well, it's not snowing now, actually. Today was the first day since the beginning of February that it has been above freezing, and hopefully our driveway snow and ice will melt. The driveway was covered in about 3 inches of snow, topped with an inch of ice, and then some more snow. So it was unable to be shoveled because of the ice. And this background is not as rough, so I'm not going to do the glue. I'm just going to do the tape on there. And you see, we got those die cuts. I call them for free, because that piece of paper behind there, you can't even tell it's out. So that's pretty awesome. So we have that one, and we'll do the inside after. And now we have this one. And I'm going to mat that one on the green. Okay, awesome. I'm excited about this. If you don't want to do a die cut out of the center, you can always just cut a square or rectangle out of the center of the card that you're using, or of the fancy paper. That way you can save your paper. There we go. And I will go ahead and adhere this one down. Uh-oh. I made a mess, but that's okay. It's easily fixable. And in this case, since there are two big holes, I don't want the glue going inside of there because I don't want the paper to buckle down. But I'm going to put some glue right around the edge, right on the green. There we go. But I don't want to adhere it down to the dips in there because I don't want it to cave in. Now I could have taken an extra piece of scrap paper and put it on there, especially if I have the card and I have the back of the card and I'm going to throw those little pieces away. Those would be perfect to use. And for this card, I'm going to use these beautiful gems. I think I will put a big gem atop the big tree. And let's see how loose these are. Maybe I'll just take a loose one out. They still stick down. I think they just moved around. Yeah, the back is still very sticky, but just in case, I'm going to put a dot of glue right there. I wasn't sure if they were still going to be sticky or not. That looks so pretty. And then I'm going to put the little one on the little tree. Joann's was very good though. They refunded me and did not make me send them back or anything like that. That was very nice. They took care of it right away. Because if they looked like this in the store, of course, I would not have chosen these, obviously. That might be why they were on clearance or on sale so inexpensively. I miss my Dollar Tree, so I have to shop online. All right, so we have just those two on those trees. That looks so, so pretty. Okay, so let's go ahead and do the matte these sentiments for the inside. For this blue card, I went ahead and found this white piece of cardstock in my stash, which will be a good size for the inside. That way I'll be able to write, you know, to and from in there. And it will show up. Sometimes on a dark inside, I will use what am I trying to say? A white pen. A white gel pen. But there, that will go in there perfectly, and that would just happen to be in my stash. This cardstock is kind of thin, so I think it needed a little extra oomph. So let me see what I want to do. This one is green, so I will put that one there. And that one already says Happy Holidays, so I will put that there and the season's greetings in this one. So let me mat all of these. I have some blue cardstock from my stash. These scrap, this was like the back of a Christmas card. So I will mat these on blue. And cut them out. This one has a bend. I'm going to trim that before I put that on there. I will put this on the non-bent side. Since this one has green, I went to my stash. I found this bent up piece of green cardstock that I can use. I can use the non-bent side. And these little card sentiments were in I have a little box that I keep all of my card scraps and sentiments in, and I actually separated them today. So I made card scraps in one, which have like little pictures and things like that, and sentiments in another box. And I picked these out. Let me make sure I didn't make that too big. Nope, that'll just fit. These are little, so I have my little tape runner here. Easier than using the big one on these little pieces. All right, so that brings some of the green into the inside. Very cool. Then we have this. This tape runner is by adhere. They have them on Amazon. I got them in Happy Mail. They have these on Amazon. They even have little refills, so they're a little more inexpensive if you get the refill. And I think they also have them at Walmart. I saw them online at Walmart. So I'm guessing they have them in the store at Walmart. I'm not sure. I haven't been in a store, my gosh, in almost a year. It's so sad. I really miss Dollar Tree more than anything. Dollar Tree and thrift stores. There we go. So all three of these cards are finished. I hope you enjoyed this. I hope it gives you some ideas for recycling your Christmas cards. Now's the time to be asking friends and family if they threw theirs away yet. Thank you so much for watching. If you haven't yet joined my Facebook group, Create with Crafty Rhea, please head on over there. It's a wonderful family of crafters, and we have such a good time. And I do appreciate you very much. And until the next video, you know what to do. Go get crafting. And bye-bye.